Hello and welcome to the discussion. My name is Brett Wheeldon. I'm the APAC Regional Head of Solution Consulting for SAP Concur. Firstly, I'd like to thank you all for giving us the time today in your busy schedules. I really do appreciate it. Today, I would like to provide some insight into what the consulting team here at SAP Concur are being asked to solve in the context of spend management. Also, a little bit about what we're hearing from businesses across the APAC region, of course within India, and the fact that we are certainly hearing three distinct business gears. And to finish, I will share some specific Indian market metrics we've very recently mined from the SAP Concur data warehouse. These are great because they can be used to quickly identify orders of magnitude of potential optimization. Okay, so let's talk about the three speeds, starting in first gear. So this is short-term normalization. For most right now, this involves stopping and acutely controlling spend. Instant cost visibility, and not the traditional weekly, fortnightly, monthly reports. We're talking about real-time targeted requirements on demand. High focus on mobile too, being able to empower information into the hands of people who manage costs on a daily basis. There is a very high focus down to a transactional level. Of course, without a digitized platform, it's very difficult to do this. Second gear. So this is a shift from those immediate needs of bunkering down and starting to look at the next level of intelligence within the business. So some examples, how can Concur, for example, support central service centers? So these are technology driven now, not business re-architecting, but businesses looking to centralize services using technology as a catalyst. Business capability with location independence. So people being able to do what they do, process what they process, irrespective of the location. There is a real scrutiny on financial operational costs. So a statistic we are hearing is that target as a percentage to annual revenue, high end 1.6%, and those that are really embracing digital technology are able and are shooting for 0.6%, so a significant cost saving and contribution to the business. And third gear, top gear, and businesses are already talking about being prepared essentially to bridge that gap from where we are now to the future. So there is a focus on resources being redeployed and repointed to revenue generation activities. So making them more efficient, activating automation, and then using these resources with retraining to be applied to revenue generation activities. Supporting sales. So those people already out there increasing, helping them to maximize seller efficiency by keeping them out on the road, out in the field. And once again, there's a huge focus there on mobility, really stopping those people who generate revenue from having to come back to the office. There is an absolute focus on digitizing and optimizing everything that is manual. So a realization that even low-cost manual has very little resilience. So let's talk about some desired capabilities within those gears. So first gear, efficiency, optimization, control, as much spend as practical. It's very difficult when you have a manual process and the spend is diverse. A focus area is definitely pre-spend, in fact, formal pre-spend authorization. So a request process that is digitized and aligns with the acquittal process at the back end. A request process also that applies company spend policies at that time of requesting, not after the fact. Add in reconciliation with what has been paid, and you start to get a great view of differences and leakage. Now is a really great time to review your spend policies and plan how you can improve, apply them. Of course, with a digitized platform, it is exceedingly easy. And maybe the last point here is mobile. So naturally enabling those mobile workers to continue to be effective out in the field. That is absolutely critical. So some of the second gears, desired capabilities. Now we're looking and talking about multifunction processing staff. So those staff that are operational, not just performing one task, and doing that using spend management platforms and digitization as the catalyst. Building in process resilience and agility, so less reliance on people-centric processing and more focus on technology. A rapid technology adoption and deployment of technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, but not by development, not internal development, but by acquisition. So being able to consume that really quickly and have that add value. Of course, location independence is critical. We all know that. Being able to do what you do, irrespective of where you are. And maybe the last point is projects that drive continuous improvement. So through the value you derive from those, they're self-funding, and then in the future, maybe forward seeding that next project. Top gear capabilities. So digital finance from the edge to the core, either core out or edge in. It doesn't really matter. Spinning up services just in time across that horizontal and vertical axis. So scaling up and down with volume and across that portfolio of products. That's really important. Diversity and speed is key there. Maximizing vendors' portfolios. So taking advantage of the leverage in integration, for example, that you may have already made. The other note that we are hearing is kind of agility as a culture. So the ability to digitize really fast and get to 80%. And coming from a very, very manual process and practice, there is a huge return. And then being okay with 80% as those laws of diminishing returns step in, not worrying about trying to be absolutely perfect. Virtual processing teams. So irrespective of location, again, these teams can be glued together via technology. Really hot topic, employee-initiated spend. So I just read a recent white paper from Gartner, and they essentially confirmed the top 3 categories of cost that will be returned when revenue begins: hiring, travel and expenses, employee expenses, and CapEx. And what we're hearing and seeing and being asked to help with are really kind of 2 opposing forces at play here. So we have a force, which is companies constantly trying to control, rein in, manage spend. And of course, on the other side of that coin, we have vendors making it easier, more accessible for employees to spend. So what is an employee-initiated spend? Well, essentially, any spend that your employees make on behalf of the company. And they can come in the form of travel, non-travel expenses, items purchased outside those traditional purchase order processes, items paid with a corporate credit card, perhaps procurement card, virtual card, cash out of pocket. It's a very long list, and it's extremely challenging in a non-digitized environment. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about some India market specifics here. So this information and this data comes from businesses like your own, from the conversations we have and the mining of the data that we have. So firstly, no investment without value. Value is critical. Businesses are now wanting to spend more time with the consulting team evaluating a broader value proposition. So not just efficiency, governance, compliance, etc. They are looking at more. For example, international VAT reclaim. So leveraging partners across a digital platform to go and grab and take advantage of broader value. Card programs. So taking advantage of rebates, for example. So increasing card adoption. Of course, you need to have the management protocols and systems in place for that. And then building the case to digitize spend management. So we are certainly spending more time working on those economic models to do that. So we are being asked to provide more tangible, achievable savings. They must be off the back of market-specific metrics. So no averages. The data must come from businesses like the ones we are talking to. In-year self-funded, fast, strong ROI and paybacks. That's a given, really. They want projects that are not only self-funding, but forward seed funding that drive continuous innovation cycles. And scalability, so elastic computing models, really the cloud, being able to scale vertically and horizontally, as I mentioned, as the business requires. Those consumption models are critical. So I'd like to finish with a few local metrics. So as I mentioned, we've just completed a data mining exercise. This data provides really true spend insight. It's around the patterns, and of course, most importantly, it unlocks the potential value. So let's talk about duplicate invoices. Interestingly enough, in India, we see the highest rate of all markets around the world. This really highlights the need for investment into digitisation, and then, of course, leveraging those inherent AI, ML technologies that a platform should have. That really helps to then identify, find, and drive out that cost leakage, those missing costs that have been costing your business. Card programs. Now, this is a topic that comes up in most conversations, and there is huge value in a well-structured card program. An example, typically invisible to businesses, duplicate expenses, transactions. We see rates from about 1 to 2.2%. However, where there is low card adoption, a low card adoption situation, that percentage can triple, and that is significant. Cards will certainly increase your liability insight. Detail and speed, card transactions flow in daily, and they provide a higher quality of data, which in turn, of course, provides accurate transaction matching, reconciliation to pre-spend requests, to receipts, and ultimately increases transaction validity. Okay. I'd like to finish with a quick summary. So firstly, digitise your spend platform. Know what, when, where, and how you spend before, during, and after it's spent. Drive change. Now you have unlocked spend visibility. Drive governance, optimization, compliance via that platform. Take advantage of the speed for change digital promotes. And thirdly, build business robustness and resilience. This is really critical. Moving forward, take advantage of the efficiencies a digital spend platform unlocks and drive continuous business improvement and capability. So last slide, and just to thank you, I'd like to now invite Bill Kant from HDFC Bank to talk about the unique business-focused spend management offering SAP Concur and HDFC Bank have partnered to bring to your market. Now, I won't steal any more of Bill Kant's thunder, and we'll invite him to tell you all about it. Once again, thank you for listening. I really appreciate it.